Hey, what's up everybody? Commander Radix here, bringing you another episode of Transformers Lore. In this episode, we're going to be covering the Functionist Council, a nefarious government organization that unintentionally put Cybertron on the path to civil war in the IDW Hasbro universe. But before we get into the main topic of this video, I'd like to mention that nearly 80% of you watching are not subscribed to the channel yet. If you like what you see in the video and want to see more that Transformers Lore has to offer, please consider subscribing. It'll help the channel grow, and it's a great free way to support me in video production on the channel. And hey, you can always unsubscribe later if you change your mind. But with that out of the way, let's jump into today's topic. The origins of the Functionist Council are very unclear, both as individuals and as an organization. For the individuals, they all look fairly identical with one-eyed heads of varying colors, but their names, if they are their real names, are strange. We have 1 of 12, the Convener, 2 of 12, the Auditor, 3 of 12, the Authenticator, 4 of 12, the Moderator, 5 of 12, the Enumerator, 6 of 12, the Enactor, 7 of 12, the Curator, 8 of 12, the Disseminator, 9 of 12, the Inquisitor, 10 of 12, the Evaluator, 11 of 12, the Mediator, and 12 of 12, the Castigator. As an organization, we can assume the Functionist Council was established by order of the Senate of Cybertron, with the goal of overseeing functionism, the idea that every shape serves a purpose, and the state ideology of Cybertron. To this end, the Functionist Council, based out of their floating headquarters known as the COG, created the Grand Cybertronian Taxonomy, categorizing and ranking alternate modes and periodically changing the list as time went on. Another mysterious thing about the Council is that they could combine to form the key to Vector Sigma, which... what? How? Why? Anyway, as time went on, the Functionist Council began to have more and more sway over the Senate, eventually dominating them like a shadow government. The Functionist Council introduced many punishments for disobedience on Cybertron, such as Impurata, in which a Transformer's face was remodeled into a one-eyed Cyclops similar to that of the Council's facial design. However, Megatron and Decepticonism slowly began to rise, questioning Functionism and the Council's Senate puppets. The rise of Decepticonism not only slowly turned the public against Functionism, but the Senate itself began to break away from the Functionist Council, keeping intelligence away from the Council and whatnot. However, the Council still existed as a governing body even into the very beginning of the war. However, their members would die in the early stages of the Second Cybertronian Civil War, or be hunted down and executed by Decepticon Air Commander Starscream. In this alternate universe where Megatron was never born, things go a bit differently. Without the rise of Megatron and the Decepticon movement, the Functionist Council are left unhindered and eventually pull a coup from the Senate, taking complete control over Cybertron and installing cruel policies. They sealed the Vector Sigma away and took the fake matrix of leadership from Nominus Prime, giving it to 6 of 12. The Council introduced the new step in the evolution of Impurata: flatheads. Now dissenters were punished by having their voice taken away from them, replaced with a text screen that occasionally displayed pro-council propaganda pop-ups. With the introduction of functionist law enforcement, intellectuals were outlawed, and people who were constructed cold were deported off-world, and obsolescence chips were introduced, which were essentially bombs in people's heads, where, if the council decided to do a mass recall of a category of Cybertronian, they could execute the entire category at once. One example was the massacre of the memory sticks, where Cybertronians who could turn into memory sticks were killed off to avoid people using them to store data against the Council. Lastly, every Cybertronian's optics were modified, so they also worked as cameras, allowing the Council to see through the eyes of every Cybertronian. Meanwhile, Rung, who in this post-Shroud universe had his history rewritten by the Shroud so that he was this universe's Primus, was captured and imprisoned in the COG for study as the Council did not understand his alternate mode. They tortured him for 2 million years until they realized that he created photonic crystals, leading them to understand this as Primus's approval for the constructed cold Cybertronians. Preparing for a coming war, the Council began to move sparks into military and construction bodies, but the hardliner Functionist 9 of 12 disapproved, leaving the Council to join the Anti-Vocationist League, one of the very few anti-Council groups left on the planet. On the day of revelation, the Council used Luna 2 as a gigantic harvester unit, with the goal of attacking the Anti-Vocationist League and using them as raw materials. However, a team of Cybertronians under Rodimus came from the IDW Hasbro universe, and, through a chain of events, Luna 2 and Rung were both lost to the Council. Though Rodimus's forces returned to their home universe, one of the members of the group was the Hasbro universe's Megatron, who stayed behind to lead the Anti-Vocationist League against the Council. Megatron's resistance did very little beyond evacuating planets as the Council used photonic crystals to create more Cybertronians to give Cybertron thrusters, and create an alternate mode for Cybertron based on Primus's image. Following the ideas of Functionism, the Functionist Council directed Cybertron throughout the universe to destroy organic alien life and dominating the entire universe. Meanwhile, in the IDW Hasbro universe, one faction of Cybertronians had developed the God Gun, made out of multiple copies of Cybertron, as they predicted that the universe was about to be invaded. Opening fire, they discovered that they actually opened up the universe to invasion, and in came the Functionist Council inside their Cybertron. However, the IDW Hasbro Universe forces, with the help of the same Rodimus from this universe and his crew, managed to use 12 different matrices created by this universe's Rung, who was also a post-Shroud version of Primus, to overload the Functionist Cybertron's Vector Sigma, annihilating the Functionist Council once and for all. And that's going to wrap up today's video. I hope you enjoyed. I do videos on a range of topics and includes history and Transformers, so if you're a nerd who likes nerdy things, consider subscribing to the channel. Like I said before, nearly 80% of you haven't subscribed yet. It's free and you can always unsubscribe later. Don't forget to check out all my social media links in the description to see what's going on with me, and if you really want to go the extra mile to support me, consider supporting me on Patreon. Thank you all so much for watching, and have a great day, ladies and gentlemen.
Slick and wet and super soft all over me.